Okay, hello there. So, we're going to be recording another one of these little computer talk videos. I know they're usually quite long, but I enjoy doing them. Deal with it. So, I'm going to be talking about gaming PCs and what you really need to build them. Now, I know it's a fairly common conception that you need a super powerful power supply. And if you're just doing a basic build and having single graphics cards, oftentimes you're not going to need more than a 500 watt. And by the way, this is the build I have, except for the power supply. I have a 450 watt because it was cheaper at Micro Center, and yeah, I wanted to get my computer up and running also, but because the graphics card still had to come in the mail because they didn't sell it. Or they did, but it was really expensive. But so the Corsair Carbide 100R series, or 100R. Only reason I chose that, it looks awesome. It just looks beautiful. It's like the most beautiful case for a budget that you could get, and it's got really nice cable management options, which I really like. And now I know you may be like, yo, you got a WD Blue 1 terabyte hard drive. Who needs a terabyte? Me. And you'll see that I really needed a terabyte. I've had the computer for almost a month, and I've almost got 200 gigs free. That's that's partially because I backed up my YouTube folder, and it's mostly because of the YouTube folder. Because you'll see, it's very big. That still doesn't make sense. I don't know how. Yeah, okay, but I would recommend getting an SSD and a hard drive or HDD. But if you really need to get a mechanical drive and then you're going to upgrade to an SSD in the future, go with a WD Blue drive or a WD Black. Which one do you choose? WD Black, obviously. Probably close the tab from the last video. But yeah. So here, this RAM is much more expensive than when I bought it. It is a 8 gig stick. It's black, which goes along with my build. Everything else is black, except the heat or cooler, which is silver. Deal with it. But it's 8 gigs. You don't need more than 8 gigs right now, but I would really recommend going for 16 if you can afford it, or fit it into your build. You'll see right now, I'm using almost 3 gigabytes of RAM, and here's the top tasks. OBS is using about 3 gigs, but I'm not doing much right now. You can see if we scroll up. I'm Chrome. If you use Google Chrome, I recommend 128 gigs of RAM. Do not do that, actually. And then you'll see I'm running a bunch of this stuff, a renderer, encoder. So it's mainly OBS right now, but you'll see my mouse software, anti-malware especially, or malware, I don't care. Yeah, you're gonna really want that. And yeah, you're gonna really be able to take advantage of, like, if you host like Minecraft servers for your friends every once in a while, which I do. I host a Tekkit Classic server, and Minecraft servers eat RAM like no tomorrow. You'll see I'm allowing it 5 gigs at max, and when I run it, I'm allowing it to 2 to 5 gigs. Now, no one will be on it 'cause it's just now turning on. And it would be creepy if someone magically joined, but you'll see I'm using almost a ½ gig more and no one's on it. So there's another reason. So if you play Minecraft, you want RAM. Same thing with Minecraft, actually. I once again allow it to use more RAM than what it normally uses. But, you know, same thing. Now you can see that it drops a significant amount and went up a significant amount here. Just on the launcher. Now I'm on 1.10.2, but especially if you use Optifine, it really brings down the RAM usage. But you'll see I let it use 2 to 4 gigs when I'm playing Minecraft. You don't need it, but yeah. Let's stop talking about Minecraft. I'm just done. Done with it right now. Then you got a motherboard. Okay, prepare for a rant to all motherboard designers and manufacturers. Stop putting... Okay, you'll see where my mouse is. That's just because I have to zoom in, but stop putting PCI Express slots so close to the PCI 16X slots. If you have a graphics card in, you're blocking one of the slots. Jesus. And second slot, barely usable. Like, you might have heard that there, but I got closer to my computer. There is almost a centimeter, almost less than a centimeter of clearance in between the graphics card and my wireless card, which is very nice, by the way. But ooh, I just bent it. I hit one of the antennas. But rant over. Now you'll see I have 2 RAM sticks. I would recommend getting 4 if you can, but you don't need to, as I showed you in the. I actually prefer the $2,000 build, because this $1,000 build sucked now that I look at it in the future, because I managed to do this. Get a 1080. But thing is, what the hell? What the actual hell? Seriously, I think I did. Okay, let's look at the motherboard and make sure I'm not just... Yeah, this one has 8 slots. I'm assuming that's like 4 channels or something. But what the hell? I'm pretty sure they do it here. No, they're not as bad. Even then, if you're running an SLI, you're blocking most of your... If you somehow got 4-way SLI, which you can't even do, 3-way SLI into there, you wouldn't have any PCI Express slots. And again, why the hell does this motherboard not have Wi-Fi? But it's just dumb. Look at this. Sorry. It's got lost. It's dumb because you need to. I know there's reasons, but graphics card manufacturers, do something. Put the cooler on the other side so it blocks your CPU. That's a very colorful motherboard. How much is it? Okay. Another thing is, it's got a fairly nice socket. Yeah, it's the recent ones. And yes. Oh god, I accidentally pressed down middle mouse. And now with graphics cards, you know, you're not going to need a 1080 unless you really want one. Oh, why? Well, I can tell you, if I had the option to get a 1080, I would, just to say I have a 1080. Does that mean I need a 1080? No. Now, if you're going to go with a 1060 or any graphics card for that matter, here, I'll show you. Or let's just use this one. Gigabyte is the way to go. Why, you may ask? Well, they overclock the shit out of their graphics cards, which is a good thing. Like, here, you'll see. Look, the factory overclock is that. Like, dang. The default, when you pull it out of the box, is actually that. But let's go look at, like, NVIDIA. Why did I have to sound that out? That was a little weird. But, yeah. Okay. Processors, we're going to want GeForce Quadros are actually pretty cool. But, if we go just look at this 1080, scroll down, come on. Where's the specs? You'll see their base overclock on here, or base clock speed, is 1,683 megahertz. And if you go look at this 1060, oh yeah, it's over 100 megahertz overclock, and that's pretty good actually. And then with this, that's over almost 200, 150 megahertz overclock, which is insane. And yeah, then you've still got overclocking room, by the way. But yeah, and that's really the only reason I would recommend a Gigabyte G1 Gaming. Like, now, I'm gonna have to say this. Do not get a Gigabyte G1 Gaming graphics card if you want to liquid cool. Why, you ask? Well, it's a custom PCB, and it's not. You don't need to with this graphics card. It doesn't get that loud or hot. Well, it gets kind of warm, but the companies who make water cooling blocks know that they're going to be able to make more money off of the stock PCB that a lot more companies are using, instead of the single company making this single graphics card socket type. Word. I'm very tired apparently. But yeah, they know that they're not going to be able to make as much profit off of using the G1 Gaming custom PCB, or any custom PCB for that matter, versus the regular PCB. And finally, processor. Do you need a... Actually, this isn't the processor I have. I should probably update that. 600K is what I have. It was very cheap at the time. It was only $200. I know, right? I don't have a K motherboard, or an X series motherboard, or anything. That's a 76. Here we go. So the reason I went for this is the one the Micro Center had didn't have a cooler, which is why it was cheaper. But I was going to go with a third-party cooler in the first place, the Hyper T4, all that good stuff. And you do not get the K series unless it's one, cheaper, or, which it's very unlikely to be cheaper, go back, and B, you really want it just for lulz, or in the future if you want to overclock. Like me, I'm probably gonna keep this computer for 1 to 2 years. And another thing that appealed to me in this one is it's got a higher factory boost clock than the just regular 6600K. So, yeah. I would recommend going with the 77 series, or 7000 series processors now, not like the 7700 or 7600K. Even 7700K, those are pretty cheap. No. God, no. See, well, not that cheap, but you know what I mean. Here, see, look here. This one. That's an i5. That's a 7600K. That's $233. And it's about the price of what mine would have been. So, yeah. If you can get the latest and greatest, definitely go for it. But if you need to go get like some older processor from eBay, I don't recommend eBay. I recommend like CEX. I've heard very good things about them. I've never used them myself because I've never bought used computer parts. I just don't, it just doesn't appeal to me. But, yeah. So, 6600K is probably going for fairly cheap. It's not worth $241. When something's more expensive than... This one doesn't even come with a cooler, according to the picture. But when something's more expensive than it is when you can get it on Amazon, not worth it. But if you can find it for a really good deal, like here, I'm not sure if I would trust this unless they have like a good review. Their seller at least has a good review. And again, yeah, I wouldn't trust that. 5 gigahertz. So that usually means, well, delidded also. That's probably why it's so cheap. Is they took off the heat spreader that's on the thing. And the Silicon Lottery 5 gigahertz means they were able to overclock it to 5 gigahertz. Do not go for those. Like these ones here. These ones I would recommend over something delidded, because delidded instantly voids your warranty. And is likely to to do some damage. I would also recommend the 6700K if you can get it cheap. Because, you know, I've seen it for $200. So here you go. i7. The box looks pretty. That's all that matters. What? So, yeah, that's my guide on buying computer parts and choosing your own computer parts. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.